Hello, my friends. I'm glad you are here. Take a slow breath. Let your shoulders rest. If your day was busy, you can leave it for now. You do not need to fix anything right now. For the next few minutes, you can just listen. I will tell you a calm story. Have you ever walked along a street and wondered how it began? Maybe it is evening. Maybe the air is cooler. A few lights are on. A door opens and closes. A person walks past you. A small shop is still open. A city can feel very normal. It can feel like it was always here. But long ago, living in a city was not normal at all. Most people did not live near busy streets. Most people did not sleep behind thick walls. Most people moved with the land. So here's a gentle question. Why did humans start building cities? What made people choose one place and stay? Long before cities, people lived close to the earth. They lived near rivers, forests, and open plains. They watched the weather. They watched animals. They looked for fruit, roots, and clean water. They carried what they owned. Their shelters were light. Their shelters could be left behind. A group might stay in one place for a short time. They might build a simple shelter from wood and grass. They might gather around a fire. They might share food. Then they would move again. In that kind of life, you did not need streets. You did not need gates. You did not need large buildings. You needed strong legs. You needed sharp eyes. You needed to know where water stays after dry days. But slowly, in some places, people began to stay longer. They found good soil. They found steady water. They learned that some plants could grow near their homes. They learned that some animals could live close, not always hunted far away. When people stay, even a little longer, the ground around them changes. Feet make paths. Work makes spaces. A flat area becomes a place to cut wood. A river edge becomes a place to wash and fill jars. A shaded spot becomes a place to rest. Then people begin to build more. They dig storage pits for grain. They make stronger roofs. They build small fences. They dig simple channels to guide water. They place stones to mark a line on the ground. And something important happens. When you store food, you are no longer living only for today. You are saving for tomorrow. This can feel peaceful. Children can grow in one place. Neighbors can know each other well. A roof can be repaired, not left behind. A field can be planted again. But staying also creates new problems. Wild food near the home becomes less. Trees close by get cut down. Water can become dirty when many people use the same place. Arguments can grow when space is tight. So people need simple agreement. They need simple rules. Who uses the water first? Who plants close to the river? Where do animals walk? What happens when someone takes what is not theirs? They also need safety. When a group has stored grain, other people can see it. When a group has animals, other people can take them. So people build with a new purpose, not only to keep out rain, not only to sleep, but to protect what they saved. They build thicker walls around homes. They build stronger doors. They build a gate that can be closed. They place someone there to watch. This is one of the quiet beginnings of a city. When a place grows, you can feel the change. More people live close together. More work happens in the same spaces. More food must arrive every day. More water must be shared. In early settlements, people used what was nearby: mud from the river, wood from trees, stone from the ground. They shaped bricks in the sun. They stacked them carefully. They worked slowly. They worked together. Daily life begins to change, too. Some people spend most of their day in fields. Some people make tools. Some people make pots. Some people build and repair homes. Some people carry water. Some people cook for workers. Instead of one long list, let's see a small moment. A pot maker sits near a doorway where light reaches the floor. Their hands turn wet clay. A child watches. The pot maker makes a wide jar with a thick lip. This jar will hold grain. This jar will help the family get through a dry week. Work like this helps a settlement grow, and trade begins to grow too. In a moving life, you cannot carry much extra. A heavy jar is hard to carry for days. A pile of tools is too heavy. But in a settlement, you can store extra things. You can make extra things. You can exchange extra things. A traveler arrives. They bring salt, shells, metal, cloth, or new seeds. They sit and drink water. They look at the storehouse. They look at the fences and the gate. They go home and tell others what they saw. Soon, more settlements appear in other areas, not all at once, not in one region only. Slowly, across many generations. Some places grow larger than others. A settlement near a river can grow more food. A settlement near a crossing point can meet more travelers. A settlement on higher ground can defend itself better. As the place grows, it becomes busy. A market forms in an open space. People bring baskets. People bring fish or grain. Someone weighs goods with stones. Someone argues about the price. Someone else steps between them and calms the voices. The center becomes important. And when a center becomes important, leaders appear there. Someone keeps the key to the storehouse. Someone tells guards when to open the gate. Someone settles fights in the market. At first, leadership can be simple. An elder who is respected, a person who settles fights, a person who keeps order during trade, a person who knows how to store grain safely. But as the settlement grows, leadership often becomes firmer. Now there are storehouses. Now there are guards at a gate. Now there are workers building walls and repairing channels. To keep the place working, someone must decide daily things. Who works on the wall today? Who cleans the water channel? Who stands at the gate at night? So we can picture a small scene. A man or a woman stands in a cool storehouse. They hold a small cup to measure grain. A farmer brings a sack after harvest. The grain is poured into a larger bin. A mark is made on a piece of clay or wood. At first, this is only a way to share food, but soon the person with the cup becomes important. They can say, "You take this much today." They can say, "You wait until tomorrow." And when people are hungry, those words matter. This is one quiet way a settlement turns into a city. It is not about tall buildings. It is about one center that many people must use: food, water, gates, work. More and more of life passes through the same hands. As cities grow, people travel between them. A trader walks from one city to another. They carry cloth or metal or spices. They carry news. They carry ideas about building. People do not build one city and stop. More cities appear in different places. Then people begin to use the same paths between them. When many travelers use one path, the ground becomes hard and smooth. A road slowly forms. Near that road, small villages grow. A traveler stops to rest. A family offers water. A person fixes a broken strap on a bag. A small meal is shared. Farther out, farms spread, because cities need food every day. So the land changes step by step. There is a city, then a road, then a village, then fields. As people travel, building changes too. Walls become stronger, gates become wider, channels become deeper. Stone is shaped with more skill. Some places build bridges to cross water. Cities also attract rulers. A strong group can take a city and use it as their main place. From there, they can collect food from farms nearby. They can place guards along roads. They can stop a trader at the gate and ask for payment. They can demand taxes in grain or labor. So in some cities, life changes again. Some people can give orders. Many people must obey. And now we reach a harder part. We will keep it calm, but we will be honest. A city needs constant work. Walls crack. Rain washes away mud bricks. Roads fill with dirt. Channels clog with plants and trash. Storehouses must be repaired. Gates must be watched. This means someone must work again and again. When a settlement is small, people may share the work more equally. But when a city becomes large, leaders often demand labor. A village near the city might be told to send workers for many days. A family might be told to provide stone or wood. Farmers might be told to give part of the harvest. We can picture another small scene. A young worker walks at sunrise toward the city wall. They carry a simple tool. They join a line of other workers. All day they lift mud bricks. All day they smooth wet clay. A guard watches from above. The workers' hands grow sore. At night they walk home, tired. This is not drama. It is simply the cost of building and keeping a city. In a city, life can feel safer inside the walls, but not everyone lives close to the center. Some families live near the market, in stronger homes. Other families live farther out, in small rooms. Some people eat first when food is short. Other people wait. City life also brings daily health problems. When many people live close together, smoke stays in the air. Waste must be carried away. Water must be kept cleaner than before. If water becomes dirty, many people can get sick at the same time. So workers dig channels, carry buckets, and clean public areas. These jobs are important, but they are not honored. Still, cities continue because they offer things that villages cannot always offer. A large market, many kinds of work, strangers with new goods, a chance to begin again after loss. Now we move toward the modern world in a simple way. For a long time, cities grew slowly. They grew when trade was safe. They grew when harvests were good. They grew when rulers were steady. Then new tools and machines changed the speed of building. In older times, moving one heavy stone could take many people. Digging a long channel could take months. Building a wall could take years. In modern times, a machine can dig quickly. A crane can lift heavy steel high into the air. A truck can carry more than many carts. So cities can expand faster. We can picture one more scene. A wide, empty area sits near a road. Workers arrive with machines. The ground is cleared. Metal frames rise. Concrete is poured. In a short time, a building stands where there was open land. This kind of speed changes city life. More people can live in one area. More roads can be built. More goods can be moved each day. Modern cities also need many things that are easy to miss. Under the street, pipes bring water. Other pipes carry waste away. Above the street, wires bring light. Every day, trucks bring food from far away. If pipes break, clean water stops. If wires break, lights go out. If roads close, food arrives late. Life becomes hard very fast. But one old pattern remains. A city still needs food. A city still needs water. A city still needs people who clean, build, and repair. And someone still decides where new roads go. Someone still decides where new buildings rise. A new building may mean a new job for some people. It may also mean a family must leave a cheap home. Workers may clear an old street. A leader or a business may choose the land. Long ago, leaders counted grain in storehouses. Today, leaders sign papers and move money. The tools changed, but the pattern stayed. Now, let's return to you, here, today. Maybe you live in a city. Maybe you live near one. Maybe you visit one sometimes. Next time you walk down a street, take a small moment. Listen to the sounds around you. Footsteps, engines, voices, a door closing. These small sounds are part of city life, and they have a long history. Look at the ground under your feet. Look at the walls beside you. Look at the doors and windows. And remember something simple. A city was made by human hands. Before cranes, there were shoulders and ropes. Before concrete, there was mud, stone, and wood. Before wide roads, there were narrow paths made by feet. Most of the people who built cities were not famous. They were builders and farmers. They were pot makers and sellers. They were water carriers and guards. They woke up. They worked. They ate. They slept. They built to protect food. They built to trade. They built to live close to others. Sometimes they built because they wanted to. Sometimes they built because someone ordered them. And because humans built cities, human life changed. People traveled in new ways. Goods moved farther. More guards stood at gates. More grain went into storehouses. More work gathered in one place. So when you see a city today, you can feel a quiet connection, not to kings and grand stories, but to ordinary people doing ordinary work. Thank you for listening, my friends. Take another slow breath and enjoy the calm of this moment. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.